Our group made a paper slide video project for Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer. This project was created by Daniel, Tyler, Mitchell, and Nate.
Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer is a personal account of the disaster on Mount Everest in 1996. Jon Krakauer, who is also the narrator, went on an expedition funded by Outside Magazine.
Rob Hall was Jon's head guide. From late April to mid-May, Jon would embark on a treacherous and terrifying journey to the top of the world. Jon was able to successfully reach the summit. However, that was only the beginning. Jon and the other climbers came across a storm as they were descending from the summit that will ultimately take the lives of so many.
The main theme of this book was that Mother Nature cannot be conquered. While climbing Everest, the members encountered numerous problems that no one could have thought of. The arrogance and comfort level of the mountaineers eventually led to their downfall.
The guides of the expeditions in this book were pretty arrogant. Because man has conquered the Big E so many times, we believe that if you can afford it, you can buy a guaranteed ticket to the summit. During the expedition, we see several times that the climbers ignored many warnings such as corpses, turnaround times, and oxygen supplies. They didn't listen, and they tried to outsmart Mother Nature.
At one point, guide Scott Fisher states that they've built a yellow brick road to the summit. The guides have this sense of confidence because they've had so many successful summit trips. However, you should never feel comfortable on Mount Everest. The guides feel like they've figured it out, like they've gotten it down to a science. What's so dangerous about the mountain is that the thrill it provides is tempting, drawing in many climbers, but then it knocks you to your knees.
To some, climbing Everest is all about prestige. They want to one-up everyone else by not using supplemental oxygen, using as little gear as possible, or however else they can make the journey even more challenging. Krakauer even notes that getting to the top of any given mountain was considered much less important than how one got there. Prestige was earned by tackling the most unforgiving routes with minimal equipment, in the boldest style imaginable. Thrill seekers are constantly thinking up new ways to beat Mount Everest. They'll do anything to have more bragging rights. This is done in vain, as it only increases the amount of danger and the number of things that could go wrong. Nature won't hold anything back.
At 25,000 feet up, oxygen becomes a primary concern. Oxygen depletion can cause groggy minds, which can lead to fatal mistakes. Mount Everest forces these climbers to struggle for something as simple as breathing. What they usually take for granted has become a laborious task. Each member must carry their oxygen, and they are in a constant race against time. The oxygen aids the group and acts as a crutch to help most members. Without supplemental oxygen, most trekkers would not even dream of summiting, and this is just one of the many obstacles that Everest presents.
Anything could happen up on Everest. The mountain is unpredictable. Besides the major storm that caused the disaster, many things went wrong that no one could have foreseen. A falling boulder killed one Sherpa early on, while another fell into a deep ditch and had to be helped out. The climbers were always worried about slipping on the ice, and since they were tethered to one another, if one person fell, everyone could go down. All the accidents that happened during this Everest trip show that no matter how much we think we are prepared, it is never enough. Nature cannot be tamed.
The central theme that nature cannot be conquered was apparent throughout the entire book. Jon Krakauer's unique perspective allowed him to create this
amazing
first-hand account.